right, I think we'll go ahead and get started. The waiting room seems to be slowing down a little bit. So welcome to the first workshop of BMC 2021. I'm not sure how many of you were with us for the call out, but I'm Emily Bear. I'll be teaching the workshops this year. Arnold Chen's here. He's the managing director of our center. And then Lola, who is our marketing interns with us. And then Murillo, who is our grad assistant. So you'll be seeing all of our faces a lot throughout the year. So what we're going to cover tonight, we're just going to go over an overview of the competition again, just to kind of refresh everybody. Then there have been a few registration issues and some issues with communications for the competition, so just wanted to go over some of that and then talk about the deliverables. So what you'll need to actually be submitting for the competition when it comes to the rounds that start in March and then April. And then we're going to do a little bit of a creativity challenge just to kind of get you comfortable talking to each other in your groups and kind of thinking in the right way to be more innovative in your ideas. And then we'll go through the business model canvas a little bit more in detail. Each of the workshops that we're doing moving forward will focus on a particular box of the business model canvas, but we'll do kind of an overview today. And then we'll go over the homework that's due for the next workshop, and homework is really a strong word for it. It's like one YouTube video to watch and then filling out your initial business model canvas. So with 2 weeks to do it, it's nothing to be afraid of. So just to go over the timeline for the competition again, we're in October, so this is the first of the bi-weekly workshops. We'll be doing these every other Wednesday for an hour and a half, and then we'll take a break after Thanksgiving all the way through till the first week of January, and we'll pick back up again. And then in March will be when the rounds actually start. So round 1 and 2 will start kind of mid-March, and then April we've shifted things a little bit due to deciding to go fully virtual this year. And so the semifinals and finals will be April 7th and then April 14th. So if you just want to type into the chat, let me know if you've already registered in Pralent, just to see. I know some people had some issues with it, and we've done some promoting of the workshop that maybe people didn't get the information on how to register. So just let me know if you haven't been able to register or anything. Looks like most people are yes. You know if you're registered if you went to the Pralent platform and filled in all of your information, created a profile there. If you're getting emails from me about the workshops, that probably means you're registered. All right. So in case anybody isn't aware of how to register, this year we're using something called Pralent. You can scan that QR code there or go to that link, which I think Lola's going to drop. There she goes in the chat. It's pretty simple. You fill out a whole profile about yourself, and the reason that you fill that profile out is Pralent actually will give that data to companies that are looking for interns or to fill jobs if you're about to graduate. So if you're somebody who's looking for an internship or for a job after graduation, it's really in your best interest to fill that profile out as much as possible, because you might end up getting a job offer or called to do an interview just from somebody looking at your profile. And registration is actually technically open for a while. We wanted people to register before the workshop started to make sure that you got as much content as possible, but the deadline is technically November 1st, but we'll accept late registrants into the spring. And then once you're registered on Pralent as an individual, you'll need to make your team by going to the My Team tab and adding people there. Does anybody had any specific issues with Pralent they want to ask questions about. You can type it in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself and just say it. All right. So, not to make you fill out yet another form, but we have found there are some issues with the Pralent platform that we didn't really anticipate, that we're not able to get all of the data that we need about you, like the description of your idea, so we can figure out what tracks we need to do and everything. So Merlot's created this Google form. If you could fill out and put all of your teammates' information as well as your own in there, that will help us a lot in our communications, because I think some people aren't getting the emails that we're sending out of Pralent. So just to make sure we have a good list, please make sure you fill that out and that you list every team member that you have. This will also solve the issue. Some people have professors or non-Purdue people on their team. So this is a good way we can get everybody in there, and there's no weird having to put different program end dates for professors who aren't actually in school right now. Thanks for dropping that link. Hey, Natasha, we had a team forming event last week, and we're working with a company called Brainchild to help people who are looking for teammates. And they've got a LinkedIn group where you can post that you're looking for a team and kind of list your top 5 skills. And then like other people can reach out to you if they're looking for the skills that you have, or if you have an idea and you want people to join your team, you can also post that, and then people might reach out to you. If you want to just send an email to the BMC email, I can make sure you have that link and get connected to Brainchild. All right.
Is team lead name the name of a team or the name of a main person?
The team lead is like the team leader. Like you put the team name and then the person who's leading, which it's not like you have to nominate a president or something like that. It's just the main person that will communicate with your team for anything that we need. All right, so make sure you fill out that Google survey to be placed on our email list and to receive all of the communications. I just think that's a safer way to make sure everybody gets on the list and nobody gets left out. We've also created a Discord server for the BMC 2021, just so everybody's able, since we're not in person with each other, to communicate, ask questions of each other and of us. Sometimes people can get faster answers from other students in the competition, like, hey, when's the next workshop? What's the Zoom link for that? What was our homework due? Certainly, like, I'll be looking at the Discord every once in a while and answering questions if they're specific to me, but there's also text channels and voice channels where you can talk to other students or us if we're hanging out in there. It's just a good way for us to have a community even though we're not meeting in person. So be sure to check that out. And then if you're not on Discord or you want to just email your questions, feel free to continue emailing the BMC email that's listed there. Does anybody have any questions about registration or emails or anything like that before we move on to the deliverables? Only one Google form per team, but each of the team members needs to be listed on that Google form for the team. Does that make sense? A lot of people must be joining the Discord. I keep getting little sounds. All right, so we'll move on to talking about the deliverables, just so you know at the beginning of the process what you're going to have to turn in March and April, so you can start planning for it and thinking about that as we're going through each of the workshops. So for round one, you'll be submitting your business model canvas, multiple iterations of it, more than likely. Your initial one you'll actually fill out after tonight with your initial idea. And then as you go through your customer discovery process, you'll make changes and pivots based on what you find out from those customers. So you'll show us a few different of those, and then record a 5-minute video just discussing your customer discovery journey. So when you talk to your customers, what were the biggest insights that you got, and what did you change about your idea and on your canvas as a result of those conversations. So it doesn't have to be anything super produced. It could be recorded just on your phone, just you and your team talking about basically the workshop process and what you learned through it. And then for round two, you'll be submitting an executive summary, which we will give examples and templates of in a later workshop, so you'll know how to do that. And then also for round two, you'll be participating in a feedback session or a practice pitch with judges on March 31st. So that will give you ample time before the semifinals and finals that these judges who are like alumni entrepreneurs or VCs can give you really great feedback that you can put into your semifinal submission and then your final pitch if you make it there. They usually have really great insights and can bring up ideas that maybe you didn't think about before. So that's a really awesome opportunity to kind of get your ideas out there to some really important people. Any questions about that before I move on to semifinal and finals? So for the semifinal round, which we have tentatively scheduled for April 7th, whatever dates you see here, they could change depending on what Purdue does with spring semester. We think that it's set now, but you never know. For the semifinal round, we'll be doing a 10-minute video submission, which we did this last year when we went virtual, and Lola will drop a link to view one of the semifinal submissions from Narava last year, who came in second place in the competition. They had a really good semifinal video submission. That'll give you an idea watching that, what we're looking for in that submission. And then we are exploring options of doing a virtual showcase with a booth, but I think it's best to just plan on having it be a 10-minute video submission for now until we tell you later. And then for the final round, tentatively April 14th, finalists will be selected to pitch to a live panel of judges for a shot at the $100,000 in cash and in-kind prizes. So that, yep, and then Lola just dropped a link to our virtual competition finals from last year, and a good one to watch would be Glimpse. I'm not sure what order they pitched in, but they were the winner of the competition. So if you watch their final pitch, you can get a really good idea of what a winning pitch looks like. All right. Any questions about any of the deliverables before we move on to our creativity challenge? Okay, so we're going to do a little challenge that's fun. It should get you out of your comfort zone a little bit. This isn't done as a team. You'll just be doing it individually, but in groups that I put you in. So we're going to break out into some breakout rooms and do this. So this will help you figure out how to solve problems for customers. So research shows that you're more inclined to think creatively when you imagine yourself removed from a problem or a situation. So imagining yourself in the mind of somebody else, for example, is a pretty simple way to trick your brain into seeing things in new ways. So people watching is a good way to train your brain to be able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and to be able to think like them. So people watching is normally done in a public place, like you go sit at a library or a mall and you watch people and you kind of think about who they are as people. Is this person going shopping for baby clothes? What are they doing? Since we can't actually send you out to public spaces to watch people and then report back to us, we're just going to send you into 4 different rooms. One group will stay with me, and then 3 will go with Arnold, Lola, and Marilla. And they'll be your moderators. You're going to view a photo. It's one of these 4 photos, and you're going to come up with a story involving the characters that you see in the picture. So you'll have 10 minutes to come up with the story. So you want to get as in-depth as you possibly can. Think about every aspect of the person that you're talking about in the picture. What is their job? What interests do they have? How are they related to the other people that are around them? What are their personality traits? Just get as deep as you can into thinking about who those people are and what they're doing in that moment. Make it like a really compelling story. About 10 minutes after that, moderators will be instructed to move on to the second part of the challenge, which I'm not going to tell you what it is right now. But before you come back, make sure that you select a spokesperson who's not the moderator in your room to tell your story and the second part of the challenge as well. You'll have, like 3 minutes or so to present it. So I'm going to move everybody into breakout rooms. Give me just a sec. Any questions about what we're doing in the breakout rooms? Yes, so the rooms as a whole, so there'll be, how many people are in here? Like less than 10 people in each of your rooms, so each of you should be contributing a different part to the story. So you guys are in here with me. So this is our picture that we are analyzing. So I need somebody to volunteer to take notes and summarize the story. Any volunteers, or do I need to tell somebody?
I can summarize it.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so start looking at this picture, thinking about who these people are, what they're doing. Get as detailed as you can. You have to talk out loud.
We could start off with names, I guess. She looks kind of like a Jill. And I bet that guy back there looks like Joseph. goes by Joe.
Oh.
Been farming potatoes since 1933.
It's a long time.
No, it's sustainable, right? To like plant potatoes, you can just grow potatoes they're the easiest thing to grow, honestly. So that's something. They're like sustainable farmers, very organically. They run a small farm. They're not using like mechanical machinery. So that's that. Then probably like the farm doesn't look that big. So that could be something. Maybe they just, and are they in America? Like, are they like, Dutch farmers who like just do sustainable things? They don't
So it's like a
that.
small organic farm, not like a big
Yeah.
potato farm in Idaho or something.
Yeah.
So where do you think they are?
I mean, they look American, although but well, it's definitely.
So where is potato typically grown in America?
I mean, I think it can be grown anywhere. The biggest place is Idaho, but it literally could be anywhere.
I could say it's on Mars in the future.
Matt Damon grew it on Mars, so I mean,
exactly, and that's a fact.
They could be on Mars. We don't know. We don't know when the picture was taken.
No, but the atmosphere doesn't look like Mars.
That is
right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we can guess their age. So typically, let's say around greater than 75, maybe 75 to 80s. People who like maybe just do farming as sort of a hobby.
Somebody is taking notes on this, right?
Um,
Okay, just wanted to make sure. So does everybody think they're 75, 80 years old? Or you think they're younger?
Some bracket between 60 plus. I mean, we can just,
yeah, I agree. Should we give them specific ages just
yeah.
for specificity?
70 and a half for Jill.
You almost forgot about Joseph. I mean, he's also in the picture. But yeah, I mean,
Joseph has pretty clear skin. He might be younger than 75. Can't really tell from his arms.
Yeah, can't really tell about him. Yeah.
I think it's Jill's grandson.
That could be true. So is this like a family farm, you think, then?
Yeah,
They're working on a family farm?
definitely a family farm. What else? I mean,
So what kind of like interests or personality traits do you think they have? Do you think they're like early adopters, like new technology that comes out, they're the first people to get it, or are they like the last people to get it?
definitely.
I think
after-
they're the last.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I agree with Tushar's point that they're not using any modern agricultural tools. Maybe they're just like sowing the potatoes by hand. So I think they're not eagerly accepting new technology. So I don't think they are early adopters. I think they are more sort of trying after it is tested. Like after the product is tested, maybe they'll try.
Right.
Okay, I mean, and why aren't they early adopters is the question. What is the, like, if you're talking about customer archetype, I mean, who exactly are these customers who, like, you know, will John Deere sell like stuff to them or not is the question then. And like which business will then sell stuff to these guys? Fertilizers or like what? And then how can they be in the loop? Because this is definitely, I mean, oh yeah, so like, oh, but anyhow, we're talking about a story.
Yeah. Yeah, for now we're just telling a story about these people. So what do you think, like, in this picture that they are actively doing? How would you describe the activity that they are doing? Do you think they're harvesting? Or
No. I think they're planting. Those potatoes look like they were just put down. They don't really look like they're digging them up.
Yeah.
And then it looks like the grandson in the back is digging them up
Yeah.
while Jill's putting them in her hands.
all right, so they're planting.
I agree.
All right. Anything else you can dig down into who these people are? Like, not just what they're doing, not that they just own a farm, but like, what are their values? Like, what's important to them as people?
We can say sustainability and like eco-friendly.
Does anybody else besides these four want to contribute to the story at all? They have great ideas, I'm not saying that, but we've got 3 people at least in here who haven't really contributed. All right, we can let these 4 keep telling the story.
Yeah. What
Like,
I think they have
Sorry.
like the family values a lot. So I think maybe she's either he's her husband, son, grandson. She's trying to teach him maybe.
Mm.
So just someone who like has family values. So
That's fair.
I mean, close-knit farmers who like have stayed low for like, you know, quite some time, and she's almost like passing that value of, you know, like sowing these potatoes and definitely this is not the first harvest or like sowing down. So she's almost teaching maybe his son or like whatever that relationship is, or even like, you know, a helper at the farm, that this is how we do things and we are not changing really. And like, even though, and also like which year was it shot in is like something we haven't questioned yet. But I mean, how the picture looks and how the quality is, I think it's definitely around in like the span of like 5 to 6 years maybe. Although it's stock footage though, but like
Let's say that it's right now, like you just walked up and you saw these two people in the field together. That's what we're trying to simulate. Like you were just walking by and you saw these two people and you're just making up a story as you're driving by in your car about who they are.
of course. So yeah, I mean, like this definitely, farming is very personal to a lot of people, I guess. With like, and they're like in general very down to earth people who like the farmers that I have met. So this definitely, I mean, although this would be stereotyping, but in general, I think, I mean, they're like very close knit. And again, like someone saying living off, who's saying living off the land? But anyhow, I mean, yeah, promoting values, family values, and like again, someone said sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Natasha, I want to make sure you saw Steven's comment in the chat so you can make sure that that's incorporated in the story, just in case anybody's not yelling their stuff out. Oop. I can't move my mouse around when we're talking. All right. So we got a couple minutes left in this part of it. So anything else about these people that you want to make sure we have in the story?
Okay, so far this is what we have. So the lady is named Jill and the guy is Joe and the guy is her grandson. They own a small organic farm, which is like their hobby, and it's a family farm. They farm potatoes and they're like not using machines. They're like the last to adopt technology, and they're like towards sustainability and the environment, or like eco-friendly. And she's teaching her grandson like the customs and tradition. They're like personal traits, down to earth, close knit, and living off the land. Anything else to add?
Shantanu
Yeah,
pointed
good.
out in the chat.
Yeah, I think could we estimate something about the land size or the income maybe, so that
Yeah.
we can have a rough estimate on how much typically they are willing to like the expenditure. So any estimates on maybe income?
They look like pretty average. So like $60,000 is like the average, and since they're in the United States, so if you're talking about Idaho, I mean, so like what's the per capita house income for Idaho? And that could be it. Like their average income will like what farmer income would look like. We don't have the data though. You can Google it though.
Should we come up with a reason as to why they have the farm? Like if it's just for personal reasons, or if they're like trying to make a profit out of it?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. From the photo, I feel it's mostly for personal reasons.
Yeah.
Personal,
Look
like,
in the corner. It kind of looks like there's a greenhouse. Maybe they have a bit of a larger more of a larger complex than we thought.
What if it's a kitchen garden? I mean, like, if you
I
think
mean,
about
they
it,
could just be growing other vegetables, so it could just be like a garden or whatever.
I mean, usually people hand sew stuff and they're like, it's for a kitchen garden. And like, because farmers usually have like, some equipment. You're not a farmer until you're using like something, because farming is like, it's on a scale. So, I mean, although that pivots our story.
Okay, I think we want to wrap up the story part because I'm about to tell you what the second part is. So do we have everything we need about the people and who they are and what they're doing? You got all that? All right. So I saw Jackson just popped in here, so he has no idea what we're doing.
I joined earlier, but I got disconnected.
So we made up a story of these people who are potato farmers, and it's Jill and Joe. And so now the second part of this challenge is we're going to come up with a product or a service that will help Jill and Joe in what they're doing. It needs to fit the story that you just told. And I saw something in the chat that I feel maybe is an option. says Jill may be wearing gloves because she has difficulty grasping onto potatoes with bare hands. So friction-based gloves help hold the potatoes. So that's an option. If anybody else has strong feelings about what the product or service should be, you guys can discuss.
Maybe like a shovel with like measurements on it so they can know how deep they're planting the potatoes.
Yeah. I'm not going to insert my opinion about which product you guys should go with. So you guys should, as a group, come to a consensus about which you're going to do, and then you're going to do like a short, like 60-second pitch for this product and how it will help Jill and Joe and what they're doing.
Okay, interesting. So I mean, since it's the shovel is in the it's in the background, the foreground consists of only potatoes. So maybe they're like GMO, they're like something new around. Maybe Cornell developed these potatoes and they're trying that they live off Ithaca maybe, and they're just trying to harvest those potatoes, and maybe they're researchers now. Okay, no, let's not pivot there.
No, you can't change the story now. You have to come up with a product specifically that relates to the story that you told before.
So I mean, okay, so potatoes, maybe these potatoes do not require a lot of water to grow around, so not a lot of moisture, just and we can farm around with the amount of water per square feet like a potato takes to grow, and it's very efficient, and that's what they're trying. So they now could be early adopters. Okay, no. Very interesting.
Yeah. So we can think of like a potato planter, like a product, and so what we can observe from the picture is that she has to sit down. She's old, she has to sit down, so that may not be good for her health, maybe her knees. So something that a product which will help the process of planting the potatoes while maybe standing up, and is not so modern, it's like user friendly, not so high intensity in technology, just something very simple that will just help her to plant the potatoes while standing up and without using her hands. So we are talking about, I think one of us mentioned that she maybe have some issues with holding the potatoes, so that she doesn't have to hold the potatoes while planting them. So some potato planter.
Yeah, I like that because kind of the point is you're supposed to be trying to find a product that will solve a problem that you think they're currently having. So that's really good to point out, like she's kneeling. If she is 75 to 80, like we guessed, probably really bad on her knees, and doing that repeatedly for each potato that she has to plant. It would be great if it was some sort of device that just shoots the potato down into the ground or something.
Interesting. Let's stick with that then. I mean,
I definitely think it can't be too technologically advanced because they seem to be stick to their roots kind of thing. If technology is clearly out there, and if they wanted to use it or were willing to use it, they wouldn't be just using a spade in their hands.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So we need to pitch it. So we need to come up with the pitch as well.
Yeah, basically it's going to be really short. So you're just going to describe the product that you came up with and how it's helping those people. So pretty simple.
Okay. So I feel this is perfect. Then we need to just work around the technology part. How is it simple and how they will be able to use it. Otherwise, I think the idea is pretty great. So it's just, it's just, I think, motorized function. So we can talk about you just press it and you just need, it's like a lawnmower maybe. So you just push it ahead and and you put in the potatoes and it just does its job. It's electric though. So you're just taking a stroll in the farm. That's how it is maybe. So yeah, it's like a lawnmower potato injector or something. We can work the name out of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea to come up with a name for it too, just so something jazzy.
Something eco-friendly.
The sustainable potato injector.
That's not bad.
It's called the SPI. So like if you're going with it, but yeah, I mean, like, please, you guys must be better with names.
I like sustainable potato injector.
All right.
So who's going to be our spokesperson to talk? We can have one person tell the story and then a separate person talk about the product if we want. Natasha, did you want to tell the story since you wrote it all down?
Sure.
I can talk about the product.
Sounds good. I'm going to bring everybody back in here in like 2 minutes, so you have a little bit of time to think about how you want to pitch the product.
Just lay emphasis on the problem first, like a lot of emphasis, because like the story directly transcends. And then I think, I mean, we just tell that what exactly it's doing. And like, so the problem is like 3 parts. So like the solution is 3-parted and it solves all those 3. So that's like a very structured way to go about it. That would work out.
Yeah, Natasha, if you could highlight on the kneeling part as well, like may face some issues on her knees, like she has to kneel down to plant the potatoes.
I'm gonna mention like how like the age that we discussed, and then like that she's kneeling, she's wearing gloves, like she's old, so she would need something like to assist her, like to make her the process more comfortable. And then we can also touch on like sustainability and eco-friendly, so the product will be like eco-friendly and stuff like that, and it can be like made out of sustainable products or like whatever, you know, like something like that.
Yep.
Does that work?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, other people should start flowing in here at some point. I gave them 60 seconds to leave their rooms. So we're all set though? We're going to be going first and presenting, so to set a good example for everybody else. Hey, Amarillo's group is back. How'd it go?
That was really cool.
I'm excited to hear everybody's pitches.
So you all are gonna buy our product.
All right. Trying to figure out if we have everybody back. All right, I think we've got everybody back in here now. So we're gonna go around and present now. We'll start with my group, then we'll go to Arnold's, Lola's, and then Murillo's. So group 1, my group, Natasha, if you wanna start telling our story.
Okay, so essentially we analyzed that, well, we named the lady Jill, and we analyzed that she is most likely retired and that she is between the age of 75 to 80. So we said that she is like on a farm and she's like farming potatoes. And we pointed out that she's kneeling and that she's wearing gloves and that she's been doing this for a long time. So since she's older, it like causes a larger strain on her body, and we wanted to basically like make something that would be like help for comfort and stuff. Yeah.
And the product.
Hi everyone. So for Jill, our group has come up with a product called as SPI, or a sustainable potato injector. So what SPI provides our customers like Jill is basically planting potatoes in a sustainable way, where she doesn't have to kneel down. She just has to walk with the machine, with our product, and she can plant the potatoes on the go. So just as simple as taking a walk on her farm, she can do this activity without using the gloves or having the need to kneel down. And this product is really does not also use any gas engine, so it is more completely mechanical or motorized. which makes the product sustainable as well. So this is the SPI, which helps farmers, sustainable farmers like Jill, to do their tasks efficiently. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Arnold's group, who's your spokesperson?
Katarina?
I am.
All right.
All right. So we have 4
Go ahead.
corporate.
Oh, you gotta switch the picture.
Oh yeah. Okay. So we have 4 corporate professionals out for Sunday brunch. They live in downtown LA, and they are all between the ages of 28 or 29. The 2 on the right, the girl is Brenda, and then Jack, and on the left we have Lucy and Chad, and the waitress is Jackie. And so their biggest issue is at work. They're having a hard time communicating, and if you could see at the table, you know, the 2 are talking really well, and then the other 2 are sort of out of the conversation, aren't being considered. And that's really what's going on in their work. They're having a very hard time communicating with each other and communicating with people interested in communicating with them. So if you see the waitress, she's not communicating with them either. And so our solution was to come up with some sort of professional messaging app that can be used in the workplace to get the workers more involved and communicating better and having a stronger relationship between one another, so that situations like this don't happen in the future.
Nice. Awesome. All right. So this is Lola's group in the mall. Who's the spokesperson?
That would be, yeah, that would be me. So I'm saying it like that. Actually, never mind. We'll just continue. This story is set in a pre-COVID time. The animal store or the toy store over there is, or the toy store owner, he's reminiscing about how times used to be compared to how it is right now, and like the people seen in the picture, like the families, he's just realizing, like, I used to be on calls getting more and more toys to get more and more products, like for people who are buying my stuff. And then he realizes, like, A, people aren't going to the malls as much anymore because of B, people don't go to malls anymore, and B, because of COVID, just in general. And our product is actually for the family. It's called a remote control stroller. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's a remote control stroller. It helps like families carry more stuff and give more leisure towards the parents, so they're not they don't have to worry about where the stroller is or where the baby is, because they might have forgotten in a store, but like they could just use the remote control and find its location and just like a ATV drive it all the way to like where they are. It's like a joystick, just like pull it all over. Yeah.
All right, cool. And then the last group here in the library, maybe Marilla's group. Who's the spokesperson for that one?
I am. So,
all right.
All right. So our group pretended COVID never exists. So their location, because you see they're close to each other without masks and all that thing. We assume that they're at West Lafayette County Library. Lafayette Library. And they're in the coding camp. The woman in the white coat is Mary. She has a daughter, and her daughter is going to get married soon, and she want to make a beautiful website for her without using those pre-existing websites just to put the template on. She wanted it to be special. And then we have Jessica in the middle, who is wants to be a YouTuber, and she needs a website landing page for herself. So, and you can see this is a diverse group in a small community, Lafayette. These are kind of the people that we're interacting with in this situation. They're young entrepreneurs or mom and dad that needs like low function website but still looks good and unique to their eyes. So the problem they have is just basically they are a diverse group. They're different in ages, especially, and secondly, they want that community aspect to learn together in a classroom environment instead of just go fully online. So the solution we have are two. One is that we're going to provide a platform that targeted at these local community environment for them to learn coding, to provide that community aspect. And we have a special keypad for them that is user-friendly and has hotkey control on it. And that the keypad, the hotkey will allow them to faster the code, help them to code easily. The keypad will be integrated into this platform and it will be real time. So between students, they can see what they're coding respectively, and the professor, Shelly, is going to see their code in real time also, and then be able to share it on screen with them to see whether they're doing well or not. And we call it soft code. So.
Awesome. Thank you. I like how many people named their people. You didn't just give them demographics, you gave them names. I appreciate that. All right, so nice job, everybody. So what did we learn from this activity? Can anybody guess what I was trying to get across to you in that? Nope.
It's easier to make a product if you know what the specific market is.
Yep, so I specifically didn't say what the second part of the challenge was, because had I told you that you'd be creating a product for those people in the photo, that would have influenced the story that you told about them, because you would have gone in with this, okay, this is the product I want to sell to them, so here's who I think that they are. Whereas if you first imagine yourself as that person, problems that they might have, then you figure out what you could do to solve those problems. You're more likely to be a lot more creative. Like, I think we wouldn't have come up with the sustainable potato injector if we had known at the beginning that that was necessarily what the idea of the activity is. So that translates into what you're going to do in this competition, because everybody has a great idea of what they want to work on, but you don't want to go to your customers and just be selling that product to them, thinking that it's perfect, it's exactly what they need, but it turns out to actually not be what they needed at all. You want to go to your customers and ask them questions to find out what their actual problems are, and then make sure that you have a solution to those problems. So hopefully that point got across in our little activity here. So now we're going to go into actually learning about the business model canvas. Like I said, this is a overview of the entire business model canvas and talking about what a business model is versus a business plan. And then as we go on in the future workshops, we'll learn more in detail about each of the boxes of the business model canvas. So this little chart shows the difference between the two. This is a business model competition, not a business plan, so you don't need to write out a whole business plan for this. This is more focused on identifying product market fit, that emphasis on testing from customer insights. So when you go and talk to your customers with your interviews, what you're learning from that they actually need in a product. And then it embraces the concept of guessing. So you're going to form hypothesis, go out and talk to your customers and either validate or invalidate your hypothesis. And whereas a business plan is more focused on the actual market sizing, financial projections, like more like businessy stuff, and not really focused as much on validation from customers and talking to customers. So Arnold, do you have anything to add to the difference?
Yeah, you can think of it as a typical business plan is kind of your execution. How are you going to carry out your plan? What are you going to do for the next 2 years of the business? The biggest assumption that the business plan has is that your customers want your product. And so one of the things we're trying really hard to kind of teach this group is before you get to the business plan, which is very important, we want to make sure that you've identified a problem that your customers have and a solution that they're willing to pay for. Because the majority of startups fail because they make a product that the market doesn't want. And so it's making sure that you, again, identify customer set, identify a problem they have that they're willing to pay to fix, and then finding a solution for it. And that's what the whole exercise of going through the business model canvas is going to help you do.
Yep. All right. So here is the business model canvas that we keep talking to. So just in general, like what is the business model canvas? So Alex Osterwalder invented the business model canvas basically to describe, challenge, design, or invent business models in a more systematic way. It's composed of the right side, which is more focused on customers, and the left side, which is focused on what you need to create value for those customers, with the value prop, which is what you offer, right in the middle. So just going through each of these. So first we have value prop. This is your solution, what you're offering to the customer. So it should tell your customers why they should do business with you rather than your competitors. And then your customer segments. So which customers are you serving with your business? So different customers have different jobs to be done, and you will be helping them with each of those jobs with your solution. And so those are based on things like we talked about in that challenge when you're creating the story, the demographics of the person, interests, occupation, personality traits, all of those kinds of things. So you want to figure out who it is that you're targeting, and you might have, and you could have more than one segment. So like we're going to go through the Uber example next, and Uber has two customer segments. So they have the drivers and they have their passengers. So it's a two-sided. And then your channels. So that's how you reach your customers. So to advertise to them, are your target customers reading magazines, or are they getting their information from TV or social media? And then where do they shop? So do they like to shop online, or do they actually like to go to a store? And then next is customer relationships. So what kind of relationship does your customer want to have with your company? Is it transactional, like Amazon, where you're just buying stuff from them, kind of one-off? Or is it a more personal relationship like you might have with like a banker at a bank, where they know a lot more about you and it's an ongoing relationship? So this can help you figure out how you acquire and then also keep your customers based on what they want. And then your revenue stream. So that's what are people willing to pay for the value that you're providing, and how do they want to pay for it? So you're going to have a subscription model, or is this like a one-time cost kind of thing? Arnold, do you have anything to add to those boxes before we move to the other ones?
No, that was good.
All right. So then we have your key resources. So what do you actually need to be able to create value for your customers? Do you need a factory, property? So these are the things you need to have in order to do business. And then your key activities are what you need to excel at in order to create value. So for an example, Zappos is an online shoe retailer, but what they actually excel in and the value that they create for customers is their customer service. So they put a lot of money and time and energy into having like the best customer service, because that's what is important to their customers and keeps them coming back. So then there's your key partners. So those are the people that can turn your business model into something more powerful. They can help you scale more quickly. It's the people you kind of need to have in your back pocket in order to make things happen. And then once you know all of your key partners, your activities, and your resources, then you can figure out what all of that's going to cost you and then relate that to your revenue stream. And if you're not making more money than you're spending, you're not viable. So that's the whole business model canvas. Does anybody have questions before we show a video of Uber's business model canvas that maybe will help you kind of picture it a little bit more?
Yeah, I do have a question. So our group, we actually have a different version of the business model canvas. Do we need to adjust and do this version as well, or can we use our old version?
So at the end of this, I'm going to send like a fillable business model canvas. So you'll need to just fill out the same one that everybody else is filling out, but you should be able to take from your version that you already have and kind of just put it in.
Sounds good.
Any other questions? Can't see the chat. Nope, we're good. All right, so hopefully this video works. You guys see YouTube coming up?
Yep, it's thinking.
Okay.
Hi, this is Dennis from Business Model Guru. Today, I'm having a look at the Uber business model, and we've put it onto the business model canvas here for you to have a quick look at. Okay, so customer segments. Uber has two main customer segments, the passengers, the people who want rides, and the drivers who give them rides. Unlike a normal taxi company, the drivers are self-employed. Uber does not employ them directly. It's just matchmaking between drivers and passengers. Now, the value proposition is very much Uber promises to give passengers a taxi when they need it. It promises drivers that they will give them customers when they need it. This is quite different from a normal taxi operation where supply and demand are quite disjointed because the system can't respond flexibly enough to the current market situations. Uber is able to do that within minutes or seconds, given its technological base. It also makes it easy for people to make additional money. It's cash free, lots of small ancillary value benefits. Customer relationship, at essence, they're super automated. It's possible to use Uber for years and never talk to an Uber employee. Channels, principally, you use Uber through the mobile app, pretty much no other way of doing it. And then it reaches people through the app, through email marketing, through the social media, and above all, through earned media, through its PR, through people talking about it, and of course, through word of mouth. The key resources for Uber are the platform, the technology, the app that enables drivers and passengers to communicate very, very easily with each other. And then the two key parts of that technology are the pricing algorithm, which matches supply and demand and then adjusts it through the pricing so that it comes into balance as quickly as it's possible to do. And then the routing, which gets the closest cab to the passenger as quickly as possible and then reduces the journey time. The partners, the drivers obviously own their cars, replacing the taxi companies, and Uber shifts off a lot of cost and resource issues onto those drivers. And you have the payment processors, and one of the key things that's often overlooked is the local authorities who, in the long term, Uber needs to find a good modus operandi to work with and work out what is the balance of licensing and freedom to do the business and give value to paying passengers. The revenue is a very standard taxi-based system. You pay for how long you're riding, how long you're actually using the taxi. And then finally, on the cost structure, the huge costs are in the platform development. Yeah, these are huge, but they are amortized over so many thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of rides. I think it's almost 1 billion rides now in January 2016. So these huge costs mean that a very small charge is put onto each ride, and that means Uber pricing is very cost effective. Thank you very much for listening. Do have a look at the rest of the website, and if you like the work that we do,
Was the video quality really bad for everybody? Or could you see it?
No, it's pretty pixelated for me.
Okay. Well, I will send out the link in the chat and you can watch it later. Could you at least hear everything he was saying though?
Yeah, the audio is fine.
Okay. All right, so here's the homework that we spoke about earlier. It's not too bad. So that video is, this Owlet video here is about 17 minutes long, so not too horrible. And then complete your initial business model canvas and then email it. So Lola, did I send that to you to post in the chat? Like the document?
Oh, no, I just have the video link.
Okay, I can do it. Got it. All right, so I just sent in the chat a fillable business model canvas. So that's what you'll need to turn in. You should be able to just click in each of the boxes. Lola, could you send the Discord link again too? Thank you. Any questions on the homework, business model canvas, anything? We've still got about 20 minutes, so if you have any questions, feel free.
I got one question. So on the Pralent website for the challenge, it says submit challenge here. Is that going to be for the semifinal, or are we going to submit everything through the email?
You'll submit for like the round. So like starting with round 1, you'll use Pralent to submit everything through. So all you need to have done by now in Pralent was just register.
Okay. Is the only deliverable just the video, or do you want the slides and everything to go with it? Are we able to do like just a big zip file?
Are you talking about for the semifinals?
Yeah.
So actually in the Pralent platform, like once you get in there, you'll be able to do all different kinds of file types. So you can put your business model canvas like as a PDF, and then you can submit your video as whatever format it is.
Okay, thank you.
So we're not actually using Brightspace. We'll communicate mainly through email and then through our workshops. I didn't really want to use Brightspace because I know you're using it for a lot of classes, and this isn't a class, and I didn't want to have like homework assignments and everything. So we'll be communicating mainly through email, and then if you're on the Discord, you can always ask questions in there as well. And then the Pralent platform is what we'll use to submit everything. I also didn't want to do a Brightspace, so you had like 3 different platforms to try to follow. Any other questions? And I'll probably after this send out the business model canvas PDF to everybody in case you don't grab it in the chat in time, but so the canvas can be a PDF. So when you're doing it for the homework this time, like it'll just be the PDF that we sent. It's a fillable one, so you'll just click in it, type in for each of the boxes. And a lot of it, since you're just starting out and you're pretty early, will just be guesses. And once you actually start going out and talking to customers, which we'll talk about in, I think, the next workshop, then you'll start making changes to it because you'll actually know what to put there.
Yeah, but basically, we're asking you kind of to fill this out now as a kind of benchmark. Here's everything. You already have a concept and an idea. So let us know all your assumptions about what you think. And then over the course of the next few months, you'll either validate or invalidate a lot of those assumptions. And then we basically want to make sure that you kind of capture those changes over time, because we're really interested in how your business model canvas evolves throughout the semester. And so you may find, oh, I think my customer is college students, college sophomores. And then after you talk to a bunch of them, like, oh no, maybe not. Maybe it's college seniors. And you're going to change it. It's like, oh no, maybe not. Or I think we're going to charge, $9.99 a month. And after you talk to people, they say, oh no, there's no way they're going to pay that. And so again, you're making all these assumptions now, and we understand that, but we just kind of want to get a sense of where you think things are and what your best guesses are.
Right, so if you have any other questions later that you don't want to shout out now, feel free to email the BMC email, and either myself or Murillo will answer you. Or if you're on the Discord, feel free to post anything in there as well. So since we have just a little bit of extra time, in case any of you weren't in the call out, I wanted to remind you what you get out of participating in this, whether you're a finalist or not. So of course, you have the chance at getting $100,000 in cash and in-kind prizes. So that's not like $100,000 is not the top prize. That's the whole prize pool. It'll be split up between all the finalists. And then there's also in-kind prizes, which is like the credit courses, so management courses, and then startup package at local law firms. But besides the prizes for the finalists, everybody will get a broader network of other Purdue entrepreneurs. So whether that's the people that are in this Zoom call right now with you, or the alumni entrepreneurs that we bring back as judges, you'll get to know people. More people will hear your idea, remember your name, and it'll just help you in your future careers. And then things besides money and the network is you'll also get the knowledge of the business model canvas, like really in-depth knowledge of it, not just that overview I gave you, but you'll also understand product market fit and how to do customer discovery, which is something that's really helpful in job interviews. I think Arnold has a good story about that happening.
Yeah, so one of our participants, one of our finalists in 2017, he and I were on a call, and he's actually a venture capitalist. He works at a venture capital firm in New York called V Ventures. And one of the things that he told me was that while he was interviewing for that job, he is I think either a mechanical or industrial engineering undergrad. And he said that while he was going through the interview process, he found that kind of by accident, he started talking about, oh yeah, and I also participated in this competition. And these are some of the things I learned. He said by talking about those, he said the interviewers really suddenly got interested in him, because he said it really differentiated himself. Because when you think about it, or think about it this way, is if you and 30 or 40 other engineers or seniors in your class are all applying for the same job, what is going to differentiate you to get that job from one of your classmates? And so for him, he said, well, by learning how to do customer discovery, understanding business model, understanding product market fit, they were able to have a whole different level of discussion during the interview process. And for him to get this job, he said it took something like 9 rounds of interviews. And he said that he really came back to talking a lot about the business model canvas and their startup concept and things like that. And he really felt that helped him get his job.
And another kind of unexpected way that it can help you is if you're, a PhD or plan to be in the future, it can help you be ready to defend your thesis. Because Catherine Clayton, who is a former participant, she said that when it really helps her, because when you're pitching, you need to think about all of those questions that the judges might possibly ask, and you have an answer ready for them. So that's not unlike a PhD thesis. When you're defending that, you have to think about everything that somebody might ask you and have a really good response to it. So just kind of unexpected ways that going through this can help you beyond just, winning money. All right. So remember, if you have any questions, please email please be active in the Discord, even if you're just helping each other out or talking about, man, it takes so much time to do customer interviews. You can vent to each other. We're trying to build a little community in there so you don't feel like, even if you're an online student or if you're on campus but most of your classes are online, like we still have a community. We're still all here supporting each other.
I have a
All
quick
right.
question.
Yep.
So I was like just looking at the Pralent stuff, and I don't know if the platform is like glitching or something, but it says that like I can't see like any of the team members or my profile or like my registration. Like it says I have to register again, even though like I registered like a while back. So I'm not sure if like something was wrong with the platform or if anyone else is experiencing that.
That happened to me a little while ago. It just took a few days for it to refresh.
Okay.
Have you, I know this is like the response to everything, but have you tried logging out and logging back in? Because I have issues with it myself, and like that's what their support always tells me to do, and it always fixes it.
Oh, okay. I'll try that again.
If it's still not working, there's a support email. It's just support@pralent.com. Email them and let them know, because they're the ones who can fix the glitch.
But if we're receiving all the emails and everything, we can be sure that we're registered for the competition.
Yep, and make sure that you fill out the Google form that we put out earlier, just to make sure. That's kind of like our backup to if Pralent is having like severe problems, at least we have everybody's email and information. We can always reach out just via regular email.
Very cool. Thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, if not, we can end a few minutes early. You can get started on your homework.
And we'll be
Thanks
around
everybody
here for
for
a few
joining
more
us.
minutes
Yeah.
if you just wanted to chat also.
Yep.
But thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Emily. Thanks, Emily.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Dave.